Alright, I'd like to welcome everybody back again to the Abraham Lincoln Library Museum here on the campus of Lincoln Memorial University. We wanted to just take a quick overall view of the galleries. And here, of course, will soon become Gallery 1, the birthplace of Abraham Lincoln. Here's a model of the Abraham Lincoln Memorial, Washington, D.C. that Daniel Chester French used. The apotheosis of Abraham Lincoln, showing George Washington. Okay. Moving right on through. Okay. This is an actual campaign pen that was used during the 1860 presidential campaign, announcing Abraham Lincoln and the running mate Hannibal Hamlin. Okay. Republican Party, of course. Moving right over here to the steamboat Lebanon on board the Ohio River, and Abraham Lincoln at the top, and of course the slaves at the bottom right here. Okay. Alrighty, moving on. Image of the migration from Kentucky to Indiana right there is depicted in that Banhayo painting. Thomas Lincoln, the father, biological father of our president, Thomas Lincoln. And of course over here is who they call Sally, Sarah Bush Johnson Lincoln, okay, stepmother of President Lincoln. Okay, the colossal bust done by Leonard Volk. Here's the copy number 3 of the original mask, and there's Clark Mill's life mask done of President Lincoln 2 months before he was shot. This is Ward Hill Lamon, the personal bodyguard of President Lincoln, also Marshal of the District of Columbia. And this is S. Grant, Robert E. Lee, most all the photographs ever taken of Abraham, President Lincoln, also displayed. Okay. Moving right on through Camp Cumberland. This is where kids can dress up like the soldiers and play around, pretend to be Civil War Yankees or Southern rebels in the fight. Okay. Diorama depicting the pardoning by President Lincoln of a son of this mother that is seen right here, who had been guilty of desertion and was in line to be executed that week. Okay, the President Lincoln had pardon took place on the afternoon of April 14th, 1865. 3-inch rifle, 1862 version of the Yankee cannon, which is on display here as well. Here in Gallery 2 of the museum. And we see a tree actually uprooted from Chattanooga, Tennessee, Missionary Ridge. Okay. The fall of Richmond, Virginia, which angered John Wilkes Booth to no end, is depicted here in this diorama. Okay. And the visit of President Lincoln with his son Thomas Tab Lincoln, also going down the streets of once hostile headquarters, Richmond, Virginia. Okay. Moving right on. This, of course, will be approaching the area of the showing the bed that President-elect Abraham Lincoln slept in en route to Washington, D.C. and Cincinnati, Ohio. Okay. And it's on the night of February 12th, 1861, as his president-elect, and he stayed at the home of the Burnett House in Cincinnati, Ohio, off Burnett Avenue. Okay. Moving on, this is a diorama depicting the Battle of Antietam with President Lincoln and George McClellan and Allen Pinkerton in the background. And of course, a very, very bloody battle that took place September 17th, 1862. Very, very bloody day. Bloodiest day of all United States conflicts that took place that day. This is a shot of Washington, D.C. as it appeared when Abraham Lincoln was actually in the White House, showing the Capitol Dome, Pennsylvania Avenue, the White House, Washington Monument, the Smithsonian Institution, just among other buildings, just to name a few. Okay, alrighty. And of course, in the far distance is the rolling hills of Virginia across the Potomac River. Got it? And move on. Of course, this shows the scene of the firing upon Fort Sumter. There, of course, in South Carolina, a map showing the United States in 1862 as it appeared, of course. And this is the night of the election results. Actually, Abraham Lincoln, president-elect at the time, knew that he was en route to Washington after the results came in shortly after midnight, okay, and was elected after winning 39% of the popularity vote, but he did get 180 electoral votes, which sent him to the White House, thanks in part to New York. Okay, this is a scene showing the party meeting Abraham Lincoln to officially nominate him as the Republican candidate for presidency in the spring of 1860. Okay, and this is the assassination gallery. It's still a work in progress and working on, but this shows the tea set belonged to Mary Todd Lincoln. And of course, Mary Todd Lincoln herself, as she appeared in gown costume. Okay, the home of Abraham Lincoln in Springfield, Illinois, off 8th and Jackson Avenue. And this, of course, right here shows John Wilkes Booth and the conspirators right here that are displayed. And of course, as we know, there was an assassination plot of 4 heads of states initially. There'd be Ulysses S. Grant, William Seward, Secretary of State, Vice President Johnson, and President Lincoln himself. That John Wilkes Booth, in the last desperate act of the courage on the part of the South, had actually went off or would have undertaken the assassination of 4 heads of states, and these are the ones that actually were put on trial later on, a total of 9 altogether. This is the carriage belonging to Secretary of State William Seward, and the black cane that actually was there that night in the presidential box when President Lincoln is shot from behind by John Wilkes Booth. A mock rocking chair showing the style. Of course, original today is at the Henry Ford Museum, Dearborn, Michigan. Behind the rocking chair is actually a clipping of the wallpaper from inside the presidential box, which is fascinating, very fascinating, as well as that black cane right there. The black cane is the actual original one with the engraving of A. Lincoln on the top. One of the most prized pieces here in our entire collection. The tallest oil painting ever done of Abraham Lincoln is right here on the wall, done by Jerome Ewell in the early 1900s. Statue of President Lincoln, a facsimile of the letter written by John Wilkes Booth to his sister Asia Booth Clark in fall of 1864, who says, "This nation was built for the white man, not the black man, and as regarding slavery, I've ever considered it a godsend to be bestowed upon a white favored nation." He wanted his family to know the means, the cost, the justification for his deeds done against the North, against our nation. 36-star flag that hanged upon the flagpole over the area of Harlem, New York, which is a beautiful 36-star flag, and which is displayed there. Okay, here's an exhibit showing the assassination of President Lincoln, of course, John Wilkes Booth, William Seward, Andrew Johnson, Vice President, and some of the scenes that were put into newspaper form later on. A log cabin, of course, which is symbolic of the type that Abraham Lincoln was born in, February 12, 1809. Gettysburg, parade going down, some of the wounded, the dead, the Emancipation Proclamation, Tab Lincoln with his daddy president, taken from a photograph, okay? Nice. Alrighty, I'm going to leave right there, and we'll continue on the next video. Thank you for coming and visiting our website, and get back to you later. Bye-bye.